All right, following up on his promise to solve the border crisis, earlier today, President-elect Donald Trump confirmed he would use the military for mass deportations of illegal immigrants. But predictably, Democrats, they are already pushing back on his deportation plan. Now, this weekend, incoming Trump administration border czar Tom Homan was asked about the Congressional Hispanic Caucus chair, saying that his group would oppose mass deportation. Well, it prompted this response. Take a look.
Game on. Look, you're a member of Congress. Oh, he isn't making this up. They're enforcing the law. We're in a situation now, you got members of Congress. Those who enforce the law are the bad guys, and those who break the law are the victims. I mean, the whole world's upside down. President Trump has made it clear we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. What member of Congress, what governor, or what mayor is against taking public safety threats out of their community?
But it is not just Democrats in Congress. Democratic leaders around the country, they are threatening not to comply with Donald Trump's mass deportations. Take a look.
We're going to defend the people of this city because, look, his attack, let's be very clear, the president-elect, former President Trump, his threat is not just towards new arrivals and undocumented families. His threats are also against black families.
If the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not.
I have a message. They won't have any choice. That would be federal jurisdiction. Now, I guess that means they don't have a problem with dozens of dead Americans, Americans killed by Harris-Biden unvetted illegals, or the dozens of Americans raped, including children, or the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Americans that have been victims of violent crime, or they don't seem to care about known gang members in the country, cartel members in the country, known terrorists. We know there are people with terror ties in this country right now. We just don't know where they are, or they don't care about the Laken Riley trial that is now ongoing, or even more disturbing details came to light today. And according to sources, the alleged murderer, Jose Ibarra, took one of the free Biden administration-funded flights to Georgia from New York, where he then hunted down Laken Riley. I mean, should these people not be deported? Why would you put the lives of illegal immigrant criminals over the safety of Americans? And during today's trial, his roommate told the court that Ibarra was in bed, sound asleep, shortly after the alleged murder. And an FBI employee testified in court today that during a jailhouse call, Ibarra's wife appeared to accuse him of knowing about Laken Riley's murder, asking him, quote, "What happened to that girl?" Now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should be tried, frankly, for what they have done to aid and abet in all of this lawbreaking, with wide open borders, free transportation, free housing, food, health care, education, and Kamala, of course, supporting free sex change or taxpayer-funded sex change operations. But I don't support the weaponization of justice like they do. Here with reaction, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. I'm just having a hard time understanding, you know, what part of the murder, rape, drugs, terrorists, violence, gangs, cartels, why are they defending those people over the safety of American citizens? Can you explain that to me? Because I'm having a hard time understanding it.
Sure. There's a psychological phenomenon called cognitive dissonance. And in cognitive dissonance, you simply reject information you don't want. So, for example, if you really love chocolate ice cream, you convince yourself that it has no calories, and so you can eat all the chocolate ice cream you want. You're dealing with people who have, over the last 60 years, developed an anti-American model, used it to dominate the major universities, then to dominate the newsrooms, then to infiltrate the bureaucracies. And these people have clear models. They're very anti-American. They want a weaker America. They want to drown those of us who represent traditional America with people who have no idea what America is all about. And they're very militant about it. And so they start from that perspective. President Trump has a simple challenge. The American people will rally if you start methodically with criminals, with people who came out of jails. The first 600,000 or a million that you're going to deport are pretty obvious and very hard to argue against. And what you want to do is crowd the people who are nuts into defending, let's keep the rapist in town. Let's keep the murderers in town. They can't defend that. That just makes them look silly and isolated.
I remember I had a front row seat. I got to MC the night you became Speaker. I would argue that in my lifetime, there have been 3 waves of real conservative change in this country. The first would be Ronald Reagan. The second would be the Gingrich Revolution. Before you even became Speaker, Time and Newsweek had some version of the Gingrich that stole Christmas and broke Tiny Tim's crutch, before you even got it done. And you said at the time, I am a genuine revolutionary. That's what you said. I don't know if you recall that. You did say it. And by the time you left being Speaker, you balanced the budget 4 times in a row, and it's the last time in history it's been balanced. Now we have a chance to actually do what conservatives often say they want to do. How does Trump get to the point where he will be successful?
He has to, every day, follow Lincoln, Reagan, and Margaret Thatcher. The American people have to be his allies. It's not just communications. He has to work with them. He has to arouse them. He has to organize them. Look, people don't even realize this, but under President Eisenhower, we deported about 1,500,000 people, which for the population of the United States at that time would be a deportation today probably of around 7 or 8 million people. So we have a history of doing this. We know how to do this. And I think on every issue, whether it's the tax cuts, regulatory reform, this new commission, the DOGE Commission on cutting out spending, or it's controlling the border and getting people out of this country who are dangerous, on every issue, the #1 job of the Trump administration is to work with the American people. Reagan used to say it perfectly. His job was to turn up the light for the American people so they would turn up the heat on Congress. The only way you win this fight is to win the public relations side. Margaret Thatcher said once, first you win the argument, then you win the vote. On this issue, it's pretty straightforward. Do you really believe somebody who has broken the law to come to the United States and has been consistently breaking the law ever since they've been here deserves to be in the U.S., or are you in favor of legal immigrants who do the right thing the right way and do not deserve to be threatened by having criminals in their neighborhoods? I think this is an argument we will win, but we have to make the argument.
We have to make the argument for that, for law and order. We have to make the argument on so many issues to get the economy back on track, to make the argument for energy dominance, to make the argument for a America that is strong and stronger than all of our adversaries. Peace through strength. Newt Gingrich, thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.